Hello, my fellow readers. Today I'm going to be talking about a fantasy book, and this fantasy book is in the LitRPG genre, so it's more of, has that role-playing feel. And I kind of like those kind of stories, so this was a success for me. And the book is Sufficiently Advanced Magic. It's part of the Arcane Ascension series, and it's by Andrew Rowe. Rowe or Rao? I didn't look up how you pronounce it, Andrew, so either way, I'm sorry if I got that wrong. I have a cousin with the same last name. They say Rowe, but I know some people with the same last name say Rao, so sorry, I didn't look it up. It's one of the two. So the story itself follows a young man named Corin, and we learn very quickly that he's trying to find out what happened to his brother, because years ago, 5 years from the start of this narrative, the brother went to face this tower. It's all part of the fantasy and the realm, and never came out. And he obviously wants to know what happened to his brother. Where did he go? There's been no, notice that he's died, but he also never came out. So it's like, what happened to the brother? Where did he go? And Corin wants to figure that out. So he starts his journey trying to travel to this tower, the spire, and find his brother. But on his first journey there, a bunch of other stuff happens. And there's things that are freed, maybe shouldn't have been freed. It's a whole thing. Regardless of that, after his initial visit there, in which he does not find out what happened to his brother, but he does discover this book that communicates with him and lets him know things that maybe he otherwise wouldn't know. He starts to attend this school, which should help him build up the skills in order to go back and conquer the tower. And that's essentially just what it boils down to, is he still wants to conquer the tower. He wants to find out what happened to his brother. Very simple plot, right? But at the same time, it's something that's relatable. People want to know what happened to their siblings, and it's a fantasy, so there's going to be some unsurmountable thing, usually with some kind of creatures that you could potentially die, and so you have to develop your skills. And again, also in typical RPG style, he has to advance his skills in order to move on and do all the things. Again, I'm in general an RPG fan, so I don't mind LitRPG. I think it's kind of fun to follow a character as they build themselves up and become stronger and able to take on more. And this too, you'll get relationships that develop. So he meets other students, and they learn how to form a team and develop their skills and move forward. And I don't know, I've just found it in general very enjoyable. I need to point out that this is actually a self-published fantasy, and it was nominated for quite a few awards in the independent self-published categories. So it was nominated for the Stabby Award, for the Book Nest Award, and for the SPFBO Award for Best Fantasy. So this was a recognized independent self-published fantasy that has been acknowledged for being really good. There's actually quite a few in the fantasy genre that are self-published that have been able to pick up more traction. I think it's amazing the direction that the self-publishing market is going, the independent publishers, because before, that market was so looked down upon, where it's just, oh, well, you can't be that good of a writer, because otherwise you'd be published by the big publishing companies. And I think we're finally getting over that sometimes the publishing companies are wrong, and they're not catching up, and they're not getting the books necessarily that people want to read. And of course, not everything can be published in general. So having the ability to have independent self-published authors getting their work out there is amazing, because sometimes it is just as good or better than what the big publishers are doing. Because I don't know about you, but sometimes when I'm reading, I find that there's like the one book that makes it big, and then there's like all the copycats, and that's what's like published and pushed down your throat. And so sometimes it's nice to be able to discover an author that may be doing something a little bit differently. You know, there's still stylistically things that often go with science fiction, fantasy, and also with like RPG in general. So like, yeah, there's going to be some of that, but at the same time, it's different from everything else. I don't know. I just like the variety that having independent and self-published works provides, because a lot of times you do get a little bit more variety there, and I like it. Another aspect that I liked about this book is that when you're first getting to know Corin, you kind of wonder if he is a bit neurodiverse, because he has issues with like getting too close to people, or people like touching him. I think as the plot develops, it's more trauma-based, but it still was interesting. Like his reactions and everything were so unique, especially for like the hero of the story, that I found that really appealing. I liked his relationships with the other characters. I like how the other characters are introduced. I like their different skills. I like how some of them get suspicion put on them, but they're not necessarily suspicious characters, where some of them are portrayed in a positive light, but might be more suspicious. I don't want to give away any spoilers, but I'm just saying there's a lot of other character stuff that happens, and I really enjoyed that. I also liked just getting to know Corin's past, because his family is pretty twisted, and like they're a noble lineage, but he being Corin is so like mistreated and looked down upon, and it was just nice getting to, I say nice, but I mean nice in the way that it was just a good read. It's never enjoyable to read even a character's mistreatment, but he did have that interesting background that makes you want to keep exploring the character and getting to know him better. And I enjoyed that in the work. And just overall, I just liked the characters and the environment and the story. And I thought it was good. And I think if you like kind of RPG games and that whole environment, then you'd probably enjoy this book. There are like anime and stuff that give me similar vibes, like The Rising of a Shield Hero. Just that kind of RPG feel, you know, where the character is going to build up that way, and they're going to form their party, and they're going to go on the adventure. I like that kind of story in general. So yeah, I enjoyed this book. If you enjoy, you know, similar vibes, you might enjoy this one too. Again, I like the cast, I like the story, I thought it was good. So I have read the first 2 volumes in this series. And so I don't want to give like too much away, because I can't remember what cut off in volume 1 and what was continued, like what happened in book 2. There is a 3rd book out, which I will be diving into, hopefully in the not too distant future. But again, if you enjoy fantasy and you like RPG type stories, I would recommend Sufficiently Advanced Magic. Yeah, that's it for this video. Until next time, bye.